All right, let's dive right in. Today, we are tackling one of the most famous, or maybe infamous, villains in the grammar world, the comma splice. It's a rule that people absolutely love to argue about, and we're going to find out exactly why. So, if we imagine a kind of punctuation crime scene, who's our number one suspect? Well, for a lot of editors and teachers, it's got to be the comma splice. But, to really understand the suspect, we have to investigate the scene of the crime first. Okay, now this is where it gets interesting. A fused sentence, that's on the left, that's just two complete thoughts smashed together, no punctuation at all. But the comma splice, that's our suspect on the right, it's different. It's an attempt to do the right thing. The writer knows a pause is needed, but they grabbed the wrong tool for the job. And the whole case, all of it, really hinges on this one concept right here, the independent clause. Just think of it as a complete thought, a full sentence. It can stand all by itself. The entire reason a comma splice gets flagged as an error is that a simple little comma just isn't considered strong enough to join two of these heavy hitters. So with a reputation like that, you'd think the comma splice is the mistake we all make most often, right? It's the one everybody talks about. But what if I told you the actual data tells a totally different story? Let's look at the evidence. This chart is pretty surprising. It shows that writers are nearly 5 times more likely to just leave out a comma where one is needed than they are to create a comma splice. Look at that. It's less than 10% of the errors. So its reputation is way bigger than its actual frequency. So why does it get all the attention? Well, it's because the comma splice is an amazing diagnostic tool. Think about it. Fixing a missing comma is usually pretty simple, but fixing a comma splice? That forces you to really think about how your sentences are built and how your ideas connect. It shows a much deeper level of understanding. Okay, so let's get into the practical side of things. If you spot a comma splice out in the wild, or maybe in your own writing, there are 5 really clear, powerful ways to fix it. This is your official rulebook. And here are your options. First up, the period. Simple, clean, creates a hard stop. Then you can use a comma with a joining word like and or but. That shows the relationship between the two ideas. Or you could go for the semicolon. That's for when the two thoughts are really closely connected, almost like two sides of the same coin. You can also make one idea dependent on the other with a word like because, which creates a cause and effect feel. And finally, there's the really formal move, the semicolon, a word like however, and then a comma. The key thing is each choice creates a totally different rhythm and meaning. But, and this is where it gets really fun, the whole fight over the comma splice isn't just about a piece of punctuation. Oh no, it's about a massive disagreement over what language even is. You've basically got 2 camps. On one side, you have prescriptivism. These are the rule followers. They say the rules are the rules, a comma splice is an error, and that's the end of it. It's all about maintaining a clear standard. But on the other side, you have descriptivism. They argue that language is defined by how we, the people, actually use it. And from their point of view, a comma splice isn't an error at all. It's a stylistic choice that can sound more natural, more like how we actually speak. And this quote just perfectly captures that descriptivist feeling. Come on. Using a semicolon for 2 short, snappy, connected ideas, it feels like overkill, right? It's like bringing out a giant industrial C-clamp just to hold your lunch together. Sometimes a lighter touch just feels right. So this leads to a pretty juicy question. Are there times when even the grammar gurus say it's okay to use a comma splice? And you might be surprised to hear, the answer is yeah, kind of, but only under very specific conditions. The highly respected usage expert Brian Garner gives us this handy 3-part test. First, are the clauses short and tight? Second, is there any way a reader could get confused? And third, is the context casual? If you can say yes to all 3, then maybe, just maybe, you can get away with it. But, and this is a big but, he warns that some people will still see it as an error. So it's a bit of a gamble. And you see these kinds of stylish, intentional splices all over literature. Take this famous line from Dickens. That comma splice creates this beautiful, flowing, parallel rhythm that a period or a semicolon would just completely shatter. It's an artistic choice, and it absolutely works. We also see splices in common sayings, right? We came, we saw, we conquered. It's so punchy and memorable because of those quick comma pauses. The Chicago Manual of Style even kind of defends this by saying that in phrases like this, the word and is basically just implied. It's been left out to make the phrase faster and more powerful. So when it comes down to it, what's the final verdict for those of us writing an academic paper or a professional email? Well, this table really sums it all up. The major style guides, your MLAs and Chicago's, they're all on the same page. In formal writing, you just avoid the comma splice. They know it exists for style and fiction or casual writing, but for clarity and professionalism, the rule still stands. So, after all of that, where does this leave us? Well, it moves us past just being rule followers and gets us to a place where we can be conscious decision makers with our right. And this, right here, is the biggest takeaway of all. Real mastery isn't just about being afraid to make a mistake. It's about knowing those 5 fixes so well that you have a whole toolkit at your disposal. You can choose the exact right tool for the job, whether you need the strong separation of a period or the elegant connection of a semicolon. That is being in control of your writing. So I want to leave you with this question to chew on. The next time you're writing, is your punctuation just about following a rule you memorized? Or is it an active choice you're making to shape your reader's experience with the exact rhythm and emphasis you want? Think about it. Thanks for digging into this with me.